You know my city atomic, we radiate them comets. Make the lyrics go supersonic. Shift to the earth, call it plate tectonics. Whoa, beat so astronomic. Yo, chronic go hydroponic. Both trans, call it nirvanic. Ghost, griffin and serpent typhonic. Coast, deja vu. Watch as I cast it, juju. King of the heavens, call me Anu. Started with the demons like Rahu. Spear to the left, issues. Journey to the planet Nibiru. That conjure man, hoodoo. Clone nigga two like Mewtwo. Deja vu. Watch as I cast it, juju. King of the heavens, call me Anu. Started with the demons like Rahu. Spear to the left, issues. Journey to the planet Nibiru. That conjure man, hoodoo. Clone nigga two like Mewtwo. The bar wound from the tomb. All this darkness I consume. Interference can cause design of mine. I am working them scales, holy as hell. I repel psychic spells, ringing them bells, throwing them shells. It's catastrophic where I dwell. The bar wound from the tomb. All this darkness I consume. Interference can cause design of mine. I am working them scales, holy as hell. I repel psychic spells, ringing them bells, throwing them shells. It's catastrophic where I dwell. Wearing that ring of the genie, surrounded in cloaks you can't see thee. That 93, my philosophy, them in the stars of geography. I'm invoking them sacred names, level my mental reversing planes. Infamous, fuck all that clout and fame. The Kiyama, I set the whole world aflame. Captain Soul, I transcend with my energy. Noah's Ark and I speak metaphysically. Underworld, you know who that ruler be. Hello Cyrus, I resurrect sexually. Others listen, the chosen receive it. That's because their true soul is vampiric. Way before Vedic, Dravidic. Look at that, this is satiric. Heard the holy creams like the Sufis. Grab the pin, I'm striving on loose sleeves. As I chief, I advance in the far deep. Call the spirits that rose from the concrete. Christ heard it through like a Gnostic. Lay my true eyes on the prophets. Don't separate, we composite. A.A.R of the Gothics. The demisphere, I illuminate. That scholarship, I sophisticate. I step foot towards the middle gate. I alternate between conscious state. Found victory while in the sack. Couple magic swords, put some druid hats. That holy cat with the candle axe. The myth, the bat, hidden in our rap. The bar wound from the tomb. All this darkness I consume. Interference can cause design of mine. I am working them scales, holy as hell. I repel psychic spells, ringing them bells, throwing them shells. It's catastrophic where I dwell. Deja vu. Watch as I cast it, juju. King of the heavens, call me Anu. Started with the demons like Rahu. Spear to the left, issues. Journey to the planet Nibiru. That conjure man, hoodoo. Clone nigga two like Mewtwo.
Yeah, you already know who the fuck it is. We back in this bitch once again. Once again, we up in here. But this time, we got the phone number available. So yes, essentially what I would like to do moving forward is take calls. That way you guys and girls can voice your opinions about, what comes out of my mouth, or, what's on your mind, or, what's going on in the world. Just giving you guys and girls an opportunity to voice however you feel about whatever you feel. Or, just ask questions. Feel free to ask me anything. Or go ahead and call in. Here we go with this. Am I stripping again? I should. I'm trying to be professional. You see, I try to be professional. But I guess I don't do a good job at that. But yeah, I fuck around and take everything off. That silly old guy rock in my ear is hot as hell. Was that you? Yeah, if you're talking about the song that was just played, yeah, that's me. Of course, yeah, you already know that's me. Ain't nobody talking like that. You already know it's me. You already know, just based on the lyrics. Who else fit into them lyrics? You know that it came from a magical pen. But again, I'm not here to brag on my own lyricism. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you guys and girls for supporting the music as well. Any type of support, like, comment, subscribe, anything. I appreciate any type of currency that is shared. I appreciate it all. So again, we're not gonna we're not gonna do a 6 hour, 7 hour. We ain't gonna do all that. I'm gonna try to slim it down today, or I guess this morning. Whatever. It all depends on where you are on the planet. And again, of course, I think it's about 5 a.m. No, about 4:30 West Coast time, so it's about 7:30 East Coast time, so it's in the early morning. So, just to stay away from all the bullshit. I'm probably never going to do any PM shows because that's when the idiots come out. That's when the idiots come out in the PM hours. So I'm probably not going to ever do PM. It's going to be in the AM, so at least people are more spiritualized. So I know that for a fact. So yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know. You guys just want me to strip? That's crazy. I told you guys I got work to do. I did my 93 push-ups. Yeah, I told you guys yesterday that I was going to do 100 push-ups a day. But I changed it to 93. I'm doing 93, and I did my 93 push-ups today. I did my 93 push-ups. So every day I'm gonna hit up 93 push-ups. So again, next 29 days, because it was 30 days yesterday. So the next 29 days, you guys are gonna see the improvement. But of course, I'll be able to show you guys the progress as I go along. So in the meantime, while everyone is, getting in here, of course I'm gonna kick it off. Just speaking a little ASMR. See, this not even a sexy voice. This is just me talking low. Like if I take the bass out of my voice, it'll sound a lot different. I can whisper. We can do this whole motherfucker with me just whispering, like I'm whispering in your ear. Again, so we'll work out all the kinks, and again, that's why I want you guys to call in, I just want to make sure that everything works, so that everything is successful. Everybody can hear what's going on, so on and so forth. So that's really what I'm doing. So if everything goes well this time, then this would be something that we can do a lot more often if you guys choose, you guys and girls. If that's something you guys would like, and girls, if that's something you would like, then we will continue it. Because I definitely want to continue to evolve the channel. I don't want it just to be, the same thing every time. Because again, I know I can get pretty long-winded, so I'm like, maybe you guys maybe want to hear some other voices other than mine. But again, it's totally up to y'all. Yeah, it can get real crazy. So what I'm saying is like, again, I be trying to. No, let me not lie. I was gonna say I try to be G-rated, but you guys know that's not true. That wouldn't be a true statement. That would not be a true statement. But the whole thing is, it's like I'm trying to explain things that don't even really need to be explained at this point. And I just wanted to show up. Let's let you guys know what we would like to do moving forward. So somebody call that number And just make sure it works. So even if, again, you ain't gotta say who you are. I'll call the number my goddamn self. I ain't gotta wait on you. I'll just call it my damn self. Cause I know it take a little courage. Whatever. I'll just call it myself. Let me make sure this number works. I'll call my goddamn self. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Let me make sure it works. 702-530-1197. Let's see what happens. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Your browser might prevent calls from reaching into a loud voice. Oh, I see. Okay, it works. It works. Oh. Well, let me see if I can put the sound on. I guess I need to put a sound on. Give me a second. Let me put the sound on so I can hear it when it comes through. 1 second here. Let's see. I'm not even on the screen anymore. Give me a second. One second here. Because I want to make sure you guys can actually hear the caller. That's my whole thing. You're not embarrassing yourself. Again, we're just figuring things out right now. So, I ain't asking nobody to pronounce who they are. You don't have to say your name. You don't have to do none of that extra shit. I just want to make sure that if someone calls... Hold on, I guess someone is trying to call, and let me see, I'm just going to call these. Let me call this number back. Use the microphone. Okay. Let me just make sure I can actually hear it. Let's see.
Hello?
Peace. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
I don't think they can hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, you can hear me then. What's going on? Am I loud and clear? I think you may need to turn down the background a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but we hear the background.
On your channel, you have an echo on your channel.
Are you able to turn down your background? Cause yeah, okay, we're going through the technicals. Are you able to?
Okay, I would try to turn down my background.
Yes. Let's see if that helps. It may be a little bit delay. Hold on. It says my mic is not working. Let me put the bright mic on.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Let me make sure.
Okay. So basically you have a little delay on the channel as I'm talking.
I see that.
But only like the delay is only like a few seconds.
Okay. Let me see what I can do about that. Delay. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Because I know we are in a call, so the delay may be on YouTube's.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think the delay is. I don't think the delay is on the call itself. I think that's just YouTube. It takes a couple seconds for YouTube to catch up, but I don't think the delay is actually on the call itself.
Okay, so should we just proceed with the call anyway?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because yeah, we're working everything out. I believe the audience. Yeah, let me make sure that the audience can actually hear you, because I can hear you. I just want to make sure that everyone else can hear you. So that's what I'm
Okay.
figuring out now. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. But yeah, I think when you speak, can you guys hear? Can you guys hear her? So we want to make sure everyone else can hear you. Or if I
Can
need,
they hear me?
give them. Can y'all comment and can y'all hear? Can y'all hear the woman speaking? Let's see if they can hear you. They said yeah, they can hear you. So yes, you can be
Okay.
heard. Okay.
Okay. So basically, your line was it just about us asking questions? Because I came in a little late.
You can ask whatever you like. Absolutely, ask whatever you like. Or just
Okay.
you can, if you just want to voice your opinion about anything. So you have the floor. You have the floor.
I got two questions.
Mhm.
My first question is, why did you take down all of your old videos?
Mhm.
Because that's how I found you,
Mhm.
and I really love those videos, and that was my
Mhm.
first question.
Mhm. Okay. So to answer your question, it's temporary. The videos will be made available, but they are temporarily shut down. So it's a temporary transition. It is not permanent.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I understand.
Absolutely. And
And
if you want
also,
more details, let me just give you a little bit more details. Cause it's like they're channels, So when I do these videos, they're not, I don't do any meditation on them. Like I speak as the moment progresses. So a lot of times I'd be saying some craziness out my mouth that I didn't plan to say, but that's just how the spirit moves. So I'm like, oh, maybe it got a little bit too raw. I'm like, because it's not regulated. So I was just thinking to myself, maybe I need to be a little bit more regulated, but of course, maybe I just need to let it flow. So I was just going through I'll say, which one should I release? Which one should I hold back? So I may not release every single one, but I just wanted to go back and see, because it's just some craziness. Most of the time I don't watch the content again. I be learning like you guys. I'm learning from what's coming out of my own mouth as well. Because again, I try to channel. I do my best to be a vessel and just let the spirit speak freely. But again, sometimes it gets crazy. But if you guys don't mind the madness, then you just let me know. We can go in. So you don't mind the madness? You don't, because I know you done heard some craziness out my mouth. That doesn't disturb you or bother you whatsoever.
no, because my favorite videos from you were actually the videos where you were talking the darkest shit, the Satanism, the sex magic,
Mhm. Okay.
the dark goddess.
Mhm.
Those were my favorite things
I feel you. Okay. Okay.
because
Well.
that's
Mm.
into the darker you are, the better you are to me. I don't give a fuck what nobody say.
See, that's exactly why I wanted people to call in and let me know how y'all feel, because I don't want to just remain in my own mind and my own thoughts. So the fact that you expressed that, I definitely will take that into consideration. That okay, the darker the better. See,
Yeah.
if I'm hearing it from the audience, then I gotta oblige. I gotta oblige. All right.
And that and that's what I like about you, because you show your true self, and it doesn't matter what nobody say. You show your true self, and you speak your darkness. You speak your lightness. Your lightness. You are enlightened and you are in darkened. You are both to me.
I never heard that before. In darken, I like that. I like that. I like the mix of both. That's very
Yeah.
impressive. Very
That's
impressive.
that's what you represent to me, and that's why I started following you. Actually, I've been following you since 2016,
Hmm.
so I'm a long-term subscriber.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I value your insight. I value your perspective. And I fully appreciate your honesty, because that's gonna, now I gotta go back in the chambers and reconsider my thinking. Because again, this wasn't, I didn't consult anybody. Maybe I was going a little bit too far with some of these videos, but now that you're saying like, no, that's actually exactly what you need to be doing, then I need to reconsider my stance. And I damn sure will reconsider my stance. What would you like to see in the future? What would you like to see in the future? Let me ask you that.
What I would like to see in the future from your videos is you going even darker than you've been doing. Like, go all the way, go beyond. Don't trip off of what people say. The motherfuckers who vibe with you is gonna resonate with you, and they're gonna come to you anyway.
Okay.
They're gonna come to you anyway. Whoever is for you is gonna come to you anyway. So I feel like you should go even darker, because I know that you have not showed I know you have not showed all of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have not.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you're not going to show every bit part of you, but you can go a little beyond what you have, what you have done so far. You can go beyond, because I've been following you long enough, so I know.
Okay. So what would be an example of going even darker? Give me an example.
Let's see. Going even darker.
Like straight demon summoning on this bitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, actually, going to the point where you're just actually doing live rituals. You're doing live rituals with live demons, and real shit, dark shit, real dark shit. Freaking yourself with a little blood, using your blood in your magic, real blood magic. I don't want to be too overwhelming.
No. This is
but you did say that we could call in and just speak.
Exactly. Speak. You have the floor. Absolutely. I'm listening.
So yes, that I feel like that I understand why it's certain things that you don't do on YouTube. Why you don't go to a certain extent, because of certain people, of how they think and how they move and how they fucking judge you. It ain't no more of that. You a god. I'm a goddess. It ain't no more of that. You can go beyond, and you can be way, you can go beyond, and you can do some even darker shit. I remember the other day you was talking about creating controversial titles. I feel like you should do more of that. You should do more of that. I feel like more of that will get you seen, whether they like you or don't like you. It will still get you seen, though. And that's what I have to say about that. But I did have one more question before I get off the phone.
Absolutely.
From your knowledge and everything you have studied personally, can you tell me how to integrate, control your ego and make it more balanced with your subconscious mind, to make your reality more balanced, if you understand what I mean?
Well, let me So let me see if I understand it. You will be able to verify it. So what I'm hearing is you're asking essentially how to balance the ego with the alter ego. Or are you asking how to balance the ego with the anima and the animus, which would basically be the subconscious? So basically to balance the conscious with the subconscious, or balance the conscious with the unconscious.
Okay. Before you go a little deeper,
Mm-hmm.
can you quickly break down what is the ego and the alter ego? Like, what's the difference?
Absolutely. Okay, no problem. So we have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious mind, and we have the unconscious mind. So let me explain the difference between these. The conscious mind would be what we consider the ego, as the ego is here to help us navigate the physical plane, the rules and regulations of this planet, right? So we understand that there are certain laws in place. So our ego is a manifestation of how to operate in this world, without getting locked up, without essentially, just navigating with the spirit, so that we don't navigate to a place where we are not in control of our environment. So the ego wants to always be in control of our environment, and to the point where we remain protected and we remain safe. So the main job of the ego is to keep us safe, to keep us protected, and to keep us in flow and in line with the rules and regulations of the material plane. Now,
Okay, I understand.
Once we go beyond that, the alter ego doesn't give a fuck about any of these rules and regulations. So our alter ego is our unfiltered self, as you would consider the darkest of the dark, or as we would call shadow work, to go into the depths or your unconscious mind. So that would be the unconscious mind. So the alter ego is in the unconscious, which is your ego unfiltered. So if you remove all the rules and regulations, the only thing that's left is, what do I do with who I really am beneath this creation that we have adapted to? We have created the ego. The ego is a manifestation. However, the alter ego was more of a remnant of the soul force, or the unconscious. Now, if we're dealing with the subconscious mind, that's the anima and the animus. Every man has an anima, or basically their dream woman, and every woman has their dream man, called the animus. So the difference between the anima and the animus is it is our opposite. Depending on your relationship with your anima or animus, that controls your correspondence with the opposite sex. So for example, if I don't have a good relationship with my anima or my subconscious mind, that's going to bleed out into every dynamic. Every time I interact with the opposite sex, I am essentially interacting with a point or a piece of my anima. You can say it jumps out and projects itself through others, because we understand that all is mind. So because all is mind, we have all these mind dynamics going on. So this will be considered our magical self. We conduct our magic through our anima or our animus. So that's essentially how we tap into our magic. So essentially, to simplify it, are you asking how to go deeper into the magical self, or are you asking how to go deeper to basically breaking down the barriers of the ego that we have created for ourselves, and how to activate that alter ego, or that shadow god or the shadow goddess, which we would call Lilith or Nama, so on and so forth?
Basically, well, what you just said, the questions you just said at the end, yes, that too, but I just wanted to know the ultimate way of how to integrate the ego and, the subconscious mind, to make them work together in harmony.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'll answer your question with this. If we study the tarot, we have a card called the Hierophant. I can actually show you right now. But before I even show you, the reason why that's relevant is because the Hierophant represents the Hebrew letter Vav, V-A-V, Vav, Vav, Vav. What Vav does, Vav creates a bridge between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Let me actually show you the image so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. And you can see it illustrated in pictorial form. So that this will help you gain some insight here. So that, you know, I don't have to just use my own words. We can use the examples.
Okay.
Yes, so give me 1 second. Let me find the Hierophant card so that we can illustrate this perfectly. Okay, 1 second. Let's see where it is. Oh, let's see. I think I passed it. Okay, while I'm looking for it, the reason why I mentioned the Hebrew is because the Hebrew, or the 22 Hebrew letters, represents the 22 states of consciousness. So Vav represents the state of consciousness that allows us to create that bridge between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. That's why the letter Vav represents a nail, and I'm going to show you the nail as I show you the Hierophant card. It represents a nail. Each of the 22 Hebrew letters has a symbolic form or a representation to help us clarify the meanings of it. So because Vav represents a nail, just like you're saying, how do you connect one world with another world? Well, in real time, that's what we use nails for. We put a nail into the wall, that way we can put an image up in our room or anywhere in your house. So essentially to open up those portals, because every image represents a portal. So in order to activate that portal, you need a nail so that you can exalt that symbol or that glyph or that sigil. So anytime you exalt a glyph, a sigil, symbol, or sigil, you are bringing that reality together. Whether your conscious mind with your subconscious mind are able to merge, or that nail or that bridge is able to be created. Now again, let me show the actual card. I may have went past it because I'm not seeing it here. I may just need to grab another tarot deck. Yeah, I don't know why. Give me a second. It should be here. But essentially, I'm just not going to go through all this right now, because I should have had this prepared, right? Anyway, what I'm saying is chant Vav, V-A-V. Vav.
V-A-V.
No, V, the letter V, the 22nd letter. V-A-V. Vav.
V-A-V. Oh, I got it.
Yes. So use that as an incantation, because that will put you in the state of consciousness that allows you to create that nail metaphorically, so that you can hear the whispers of the subconscious mind, because we know that the subconscious mind is connected to our emotional plane or our intuition. So in order to heighten your intuition, we will activate the Hebrew letter Vav. You can also imagine the letter. So you would just, type in Vav in Google and you can see the actual Hebrew letter. So you can keep that, you can burn that image into your mind, because this is essentially how we work magic anyway. So you can either create a sigil, you can create the actual letter Vav, and put it in your wallet. Same thing, you will use a sigil or a symbol. You can create it as a symbol, or you can just keep it in the forefront of your mind and have it as an incantation as you go throughout your day, and just see how it affects your see how it affects your actual reality as you journey through your day. So you don't have to alter anything. You just progress through your life as usual. You're just utilizing that symbol burned in your third eye. So you keep your third eye focused on the symbol of Vav as you chant it silently. So you chant it in silence, and then you have that symbol. So essentially, a secret is completely occult. Nobody knows what's going on except you, but you are able to tell, okay, this actually affects me in this way, because these are the 22 states of consciousness. If we study the Kabbalah or the Tree of Life, we understand that the Tree of Life has 22 paths, but it also has the 10 forces of nature. So that's what we see, the orbs or the Sephira. They represent the forces of nature, and those paths that connect the forces of nature represents the 22 states of consciousness. So essentially, the purpose of mastering the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, or the Hebrew alphabet is to be able to distinguish the difference between those 22 states of consciousness and what is the difference between a state of consciousness and a force of nature. So for example, if you were working with Malkuth, which is a number 10 on the Kabbalah, Malkuth, 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 that's going to produce a different effect because that is an actual force of nature versus a state of consciousness. So the reason why we can even do these things is because we are a part of nature and we are a part of the grand mind that we will call the God or the goddess or our higher self. So we become students of the Kabbalah or the tree of life or the tree of death, because we know we're talking about that dark shit. So the clip-offic tree, we integrate our lives within these trees. We burn it into our consciousness because that's when it becomes real. See, it's one thing to study, these things, outside of ourselves objectively. So we want to make it subjective because that's essentially what you're asking. How do you integrate that magical realm with the 3D world? Well, you have to bring it into the subconscious so it can't just be something you study externally. So this is why we commit these things to memory. So when you commit, because again, if the 22 Hebrew letters are just the 10 planets and the 12 zodiac signs. So essentially you're just learning the difference between the two, but now you're bringing it inside of yourself. So now it ain't just, okay, the sun means this, the moon means that, Mercury means this, Scorpio means this, Aries means this. We already know these things. Now you're bringing it inside and making it internal. And the purpose of why you would use the Hebrew alphabet is because we don't want to use English. Because English affects our conscious mind. That's just a common tongue. That's not how we activate magic. We must utilize a language that directly penetrates into the subconscious mind. So the English doesn't directly penetrate into the subconscious. It penetrates into the conscious mind. And that's why we can have a conversation, conscious to conscious. But if we're talking about directly going into the subconscious, that's what music does. That's what the Latin does. That's what the Hebrew does. That's why we study these older languages, because they directly penetrate into the subconscious mind. So we have the Kabbalah and the Hebrew because the Hebrew is directly connected with the occult. So it's essentially, it's the easiest language, not even the language, just the letters, because you are essentially learning the 22 individual letters. So essentially when you learn the 22 letters, you have learned astrology because you know about all the attributes of the planets and all the attributes of the zodiac signs. So essentially as we learn the Kabbalah that's why it is a map of the universe. The Kabbalah becomes a map of the universe because through studying the Kabbalah personally, and you are bringing it inside. So now you have internalized the tree. When you internalize the tree to the point where now you can illuminate the tree from your heart. Magic has to be worked from our heart, not the brain. The only way to work from the heart, just like when we say speak from the heart or quote, when you say that I know that by heart, well, you know something by heart, that means it's internal. You have internalized it. And then you can manifest a light from within at that point. You don't need to grab from the objective anymore. So true magic is when we are able to illuminate from within, from the heart center. So in order to illuminate from the heart center, we must bring it inside of us. We must know it by heart. So when we look at that tree, we know about every path. We know about every sephra because we have individual experience with it, because this is what we put the work in for, the shadow work, whatever the work we want to call it. We put that work in so that we can internalize it, so that you know what everything does. So once you are able to compartmentalize everything, every state of consciousness, you know when to bring it out. For example, Yod is Virgo. I use Yod when I need to do anything tedious. You need to do paperwork, basically what we don't want to do, as we call it, the dirty work. Anything that's just tedious to do, you activate Yod or Virgo, and it becomes a lot more easier, because that's what Yod does. It taps you into a state of consciousness that allows you to essentially activate the hand, because Yod is symbolized as a hand. So whatever, and the hand represents the pen. So whatever requires you to utilize your hands, you activate Yod. So now you can integrate your consciousness with whatever activity you are doing, and it allows you to breeze right through it, versus if you're in a different state of consciousness and you're trying to do something that is opposite. This is what makes it harder. So when we internalize the tree, we can compartmentalize when to activate these energies. And when we are able to properly and correctly activate the energies based on what we are trying to manifest from within, this is how we become the Christ. This is how we illuminate the Christ consciousness, or the 33, because we add the 11 plus the 22. Remember, we got the 22 Hebrew letters, but then we have the 11 forces of nature. The 10 plus the 1. That plus 1 is that Doff, which is the entrance into the clip-off, or the tree of death. Right, so that Doff represents the 11th force of nature that activates the chaos, or the abyss. And that takes us, to deeper mysteries in the clip-off. So, to simply answer your question, the map of the Kabbalah must be internalized. And when you are able to internalize it, you can illuminate it from your heart. And when you illuminate it from your heart, this is what makes it magical, because you no longer need to reach outside of yourself to do anything, because as I said, you know how to burn the symbol into your third eye, and you know how to do that incantation in the silence. You know how to move the silence based strictly on symbolism and incantation within the silence, which opens up the abyss. Does that make sense?
Oh, wow. I gotta say, you are very, very complex with your teachings, but I always still end up understanding them. So I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I try to be as complex as I can, because I know that it's not enough people being complex. We're just saying anything at our mouths because it's not internalized. A lot of people have not internalized what they speak on. So that's why I push that internalizer. So whatever, I'm just using the Kabbalah as an example. It's whatever is close to your heart. If it's astrology, if it's numerology, if it's tarot, whatever is the closest to your heart, you want to illuminate it from the heart center, because the heart is more powerful than the brain. The heart is what controls, again, our magical self. So when we work from our heart and project that love frequency, with that love force, it's not just love for another person, it's love for self. So knowledge of self produces love for self, because you have illuminated your inner tree. Remember, and that tree produces seeds. It produces fruit. No, you can plant the seeds. Basically, when you are internalizing it, you're basically planting the seeds. And then that tree begins to grow within you and produce fruit. The fruit is, you can now manipulate your own consciousness, but not just your own consciousness. You can manipulate nature, because you plant the seeds in the heart center, and they were planted with love, because your goal is to illuminate fully your consciousness, so that you can have the knowledge and conversation with your holy guardian angel, as we call in today's times our higher self, which is just a separate part of our consciousness, or as we call it, the superconscious. The superconscious is just a higher self. But the higher self is separate than the conscious, but it must be illuminated from within, so that you can actually, it's like communicating with a part of yourself that is not necessarily higher, it's just deeper and darker, as we call it. It's in the shadows. It's that alter ego that needs to be illuminated. We need to plant the seeds and eat from that forbidden fruit that we call the clip-off. So you must eat of your own forbidden fruit that's found within the tree of death. We start with the tree of life, because we must master life before we master death. So we start with the tree of life, so that we know how to love, we know how to grow, we know how to expand. And once we have mastered life, then we go into the mysteries of death. We go into the mysteries of the Inferno, the hellish, and we learn how to destroy. That's when we can destroy the ego and recreate ourselves from the nothingness and produce that alter ego, because that alter ego must be produced by intaking that forbidden fruit from those seeds that you planted in the heart center. Makes sense?
Oh, wow. Yes, makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you so much for calling in and expressing yourself, and I fully understand everything you're saying, and I definitely will take heed, and you will definitely be seeing a lot more controversy and a lot more darkness, because that's what you want, and that's essentially what I got to give. So I appreciate you so much for that. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right. And you see how this flows when I'm able to actually communicate, with you guys and girls. You see how this flows naturally. I love doing this. I love being able to, communicate with you guys, and it's, especially publicly, so, everyone can benefit from it. So I appreciate that perspective, because I didn't really consider that, let me just be honest. Because I thought I was going too far. But now I have to consider that's actually what you guys want. So now I have to step out of my own ego about what I want to produce and what I think I should be doing and what direction I think to channel. Because this is essentially for you. I have to do this for you guys, so I must listen to what you guys verbalize to me, because you guys are going to be the ones who are taking heed to these things and evolving from these things. And all I can do is give my insight, right? So I'm definitely going to take heed. So if y'all want more controversy, I'll give more controversy. If y'all want more madness, I can give more madness. You guys literally want me to be butt-ass naked on here. I guess I can just show the upper portion of the body, but if that's what you want, I'll give it to you. I just have to know that I have the support of the audience. So if you guys support it, then that's exactly what I'm going to bring you. Because essentially all we need is each other. Right? We don't necessarily need to concern ourselves with the greater world. We can just concern ourselves with what we need to evolve, because again, this is the purpose of creating a society or a community or a fraternity, so that we can match minds. And that's what makes us supreme, when we match minds. And that's what I'm here for. I'm literally here to help match minds, so that I can give you guys and girls a piece of my mind, and if that helps, it helps, and then you give me a piece of yours. Suicide rates are up 200%. Currently, we need that cosmic therapy. I'm definitely not going to argue with that. So again, because I know what's going on in my own life, my own personal life. Like, the chaos is manifesting rapidly. So I can only imagine what's going on with everybody else. And again, that's why I want to come on here, because again, I understand. I know if it's tough for me, then it's tough for you guys. So, and girls, again, I don't want to exclude anybody. So that's why I want to manifest this currency. That's why I don't make it about money. I don't make it about anything. It's strictly about the currency, because that's what matters at the end of it all. Because that's what lives on. That's what lives on, is the currency that is produced. That's what's going to radiate even after our death. Even after we are no longer here, the currency continues. Just like the ones who came before me, just like the ones that I had to learn from. Their currency still emanates. It's still living. That's why we buried the pharaohs. We buried the dead. We made the dead into mummies, because they were able to travel from this world to the next and still give us information via telepathy, because that's most likely how the spirit communicates anyway, through telepathy. What's up, Tech Mans? Tech Mims? What's up, Unleash the Dragon? Well, again, if that's what y'all want, that's what I'm going to give y'all. Definitely not going to give you the opposite of what you're asking for, because again, you're not here for that, right? So I must be the vessel. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to be the vessel for us all. That's why I channel. That's why I don't prepare a bunch of notes before I come online and okay, this is what I want to talk about. Fuck what I want to talk about. What needs to be said. So when we merge together, I'm able to communicate from a greater perspective, because I'm able to pull from many different sources. And this is what I mean by currency. I'm able to pull from many different sources. And if I'm able to pull, the more sources I'm able to pull from, the wider I can go into the darkness and or the light. You missed yesterday's live stream? Yeah. It's a whole 7 hours. That's a whole work day. You got a whole work day to listen to that. Got a whole work day. But I wasn't taking calls yesterday. I was just running my mouth, so you can get to that at your own pace. But again, moving forward, that's the whole thing. I definitely want to give you guys and girls an opportunity to voice your perspective as well. So again, it's not just you guys and girls are just hearing my voice. You hear the voice of the collective because we are one. We are one. So even if we disagree, I know everybody doesn't agree 100% with what I have to say. You may only agree 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, 50%. I know everybody has their own perspective, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own perspective. So that's why I want to extend the platform. Because again, I know everybody's not going to agree. However, if I extend the platform, hopefully we can come to an understanding. So even if you don't agree, you can at least have an understanding of where I'm coming from, and I can have an understanding of where you're coming from. And that is my goal. It ain't for me to say I'm right and you wrong, just because we may disagree. However, if we can see each other's perspectives, then we're good. Are the calls via phone? Yeah. All you gotta do is hit that number. All you gotta do is type that number in 702-530-1197. All right, somebody's calling. Peace.
Right, Bill.
What's going on with
press
you?
1.
Let me
To send a
accept that.
voicemail, press 2.
Let me accept it. Hold on.
To accept, press 1.
Let
To
me
send
do
a
that.
voicemail, press 2.
Hold on. Let me make sure it went through. I may need to call back. Hold on. I'm still getting it together. 1 second. Still getting it together. Give me one, because I think it's coming. I think it's actually coming through on the phone. I think that's what's going on here. Yeah. I think I see what's going on here. The calls are being forwarded to my phone. So let me do this. Let me actually put this on airplane mode. So I'm gonna call this number right back. Let me put my phone on airplane mode so the phone doesn't intercept. So give me a second here. Again, I'm getting everything together. Because this is the business line, so the calls go directly to my phone. So let me put the phone on airplane mode. So I'm going to call this number right back. See if I can get through.
Peace, what's up?
Peace. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you real good.
All right, how's everything with you?
Oh, yeah, it's getting better, thanks to you.
I appreciate that so much. Tell me what's on your mind.
Woo! Thank goodness for you, because it's definitely the wild, wild west out here.
Tell me about it.
Well, I don't know how much I can say without them interfering, but thank goodness for your videos, because when that Breonna Taylor shit happened, and you told me about street justice on the phone, you were so nice. You gave everybody a free 20-minute. Well, you gave, you knew we was really suffering as black women when that Breonna Taylor shit happened.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate your mercy for that and what you did on Instagram, because I'm telling you, I was ready to really fuck some shit up when that happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I had to turn on your ASMR video, because I was just like, you know what I'm saying? I could feel like so much anger just feeling like my skin is the reason why I don't deserve justice. And you taught me how to reverse a lot of shit, as far as just psychological warfare,
Yes, exactly.
And I really appreciate that, because there was a lot of Freemasons, praying on my downfall. Like when you told us as people that we're worth more than just money, it just feels so beautiful, because, like, I never heard nobody say that we more than just rims and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because this is what our culture projects, but this is by design. They want us to be reduced to materialism and not activate our spiritual currency, because that will make us supreme. We become supreme when we focus upon currency. So they want to keep us on the money frequency. So that's why it's all about get money, get to the bag, so on and so forth. But once we understand how currency works, currency can be translated into money, but so much more. It can also be translated into a culture. So as we are speaking now, this would be a form of currency, and you see it can translate into many things. You know, it can,
hell yeah.
so that's definitely what it's all about. And you see the currency isn't, you know, focused on whether it's light or dark. As you said, divine justice or street justice. These are rules and regulations that you see. The deeper we get into spirit, because we have spirits, you know, like the Latin spirits, you know, the Apollo spirits. We have spirits that will put in that work. So if they didn't believe in that, we wouldn't have spirits that support all of these street activities if it is divine justice in fact. That's why the laws are so strict. In terms of the street laws are even more strict than the actual laws of the land. And it's because of what we're actually worth. It's all about the currency. That's why reputation matters. That's why, again, everything you do follows you. Essentially, everything is an imprint on the aura. You know, we can't hide all of these things. So that pain that we all feel when we see injustice happen over and over again, then the cops getting acquitted and nobody essentially is punished for it.
I was angry. I'm so happy you taught me how to channel that anger in a way that wouldn't get me into further bondage. You know what I'm saying?
All right, because we tend to take it out on each other. That's why we're so angry with each other. It's because of the environment that we're in, and we're subjected to this psychological warfare. So because we can't take it out on the system, we tend to take it out on each other, and that's why, you know, we are in the position we are in because of the psychological warfare.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the churches, I'm so happy you brought up the church thing, because it's a lot of churches doing satanic rituals in my neighborhood, and they don't think I can remote review that shit.
Because they started off against our people. This was never to evolve the currency of the people, but it was, you know, a plot, you know, to increase the money in the community. But again, it's funneled by the government because they operate under a 501c3. Exactly. So they are funded.
In them churches, a lot of rituals.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. And this has been because we know how the churches start. When we were enslaved, you know, we were still able to preach the word, or the so-called word. We were, you know, we weren't able to read and do all that, but we was damn sure able to go to church and learn about the white Christ. We were able to do that.
Wow. Thank you, Frederick Douglass, too, on one of your videos, because you talked about how slaves had a code like Nat Turner and Frederick Douglass and Sojourner Truth. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that, because that got me further, you know what I'm saying, into seeing how to read in between the lines. You know, you taught us how to go from book literacy to energetic literacy, and that is huge, man.
Yeah, because we know so many of our people are educated, so many of our people are very, very smart. But when it comes to intelligence, they're dead. Because once you start speaking anything spiritual, they start looking at you crazy. You start speaking about remote viewing and astral. Correct. Because they make you feel foolish when you go into the spirit world. And the spirit world is essentially our only defense at this point. The money is not going to get us out of this situation. What gets us out of the situation is the currency that comes from the spirit. So the more we integrate with the spirit, especially those dark lords, those dark gods, and those dark goddesses.
Yeah, when you told me that Palo Mayombre, that is it. When you told me about that Palo Mayombre, that just saved my life over and over again. It got a lot of cops off my back.
Mm-hmm. And you see, because the spirit is with us within. Once we take those steps towards the spirit, we see that's when things begin to change. You see, when we are, because that's currency. See, when we begin to integrate with the spirit, we generate currency. And we have always known this, and that's why there's spirits all over this planet. It's not about whether the spirits are real or whether they're not real. It's about the currency that's generated. For example, if you're dealing with Lurvana, for example, Lurvana, She's the goddess of thieves. Essentially, I believe it's a Roman goddess or a Greek goddess. She's a goddess of thieves. So just like Hermes is the god of thieves. So if we understand, okay, so why is there a god and goddess of thieves anyway? If we're not supposed to steal, why would there be a god and goddess of thieves that watches over thieves? If that's not supposed to be something, again, if we're in a situation where we are suppressed, and we know we are in an environment where we are suppressed from all dimensions. So we must go into the underworld and take what we need to take and do what we need to do, that divine street justice, in order to level out the playing field. And the spirit will have your back. The spirit is not going to leave you. The spirit actually becomes stronger in you once you understand the position you play. Once we go darker into the infernal mysteries. See, it's one thing to go into the mysteries of the light, but when we go into the infernal mysteries, when we go into those hellish mysteries, because again, that's where we find the Lord of the underworld, El Cristo Negro, so on and so forth. La Santísima watches over the prostitutes. She watches over the sex workers, even though we know that that's illegal. But the goddess is like, don't worry about the law. We supersede the law. We supersede it. We are supreme. So we are mortal. Correct. So we cannot allow fear to penetrate our being, because we are deeper than fear. We must create fear. We must not be slaves to fear. Many of our people are slaves to fear, when we should be the ones causing chaos and madness, not physically by being destructive, but in the spirit world, because we can take out anybody. Let people come, and again, not necessarily do a ritual, because again, that's why I want to acknowledge that we must move into technology. Spirituality has to integrate with technology, because that's why we are technomancers. The spirit wants us to be technomancers. The spirit wants us, because we're using technology right now. The spirit wants to move through technology. We no longer need to do like the traditional rituals. We don't need to do any of that no more. We have technology to do more advanced things, again, as we're doing now. We can go
use energy against them. Hell yeah. Because, you know what I'm saying, if life is not fair, then why should you play fair?
Because we know the odds are stacked against us. We must go against all odds. So in order for us to go against all odds, we must be willing to deal with all forms of currency. See, that's the main difference between money and currency. See, money is local. Currency is universal. So what else is universal? The spirit is universal. So that's the main difference. The spirit is universal. I mean, you can be anywhere on this planet. As long as you are integrated with the spirits of that land, you're going to be okay. It ain't really about the people, because the spirit influenced the people. So if you're on a good side of the spirit, the people are going to be with you. See, we go to spirit first. The people follow the spirit. So if we communicate with the spirit, then the spirit is going to lead us to the people we need to interact with, the people we need to be with, instead of it being the other way around, like we're looking for people. We shouldn't be looking for people. It's all about the currency. Seek out the spirit.
Damn, that is something real, because, you know what I'm saying, when I learned about how the fucking church was fucking me up with song magic, I had to reverse that shit and get my King Solomon shit, because I couldn't believe that motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, was really thinking like, we got your ass, you know what I'm saying?
You absolutely right. That's what makes King Solomon so powerful, because he was working with the angels and the demons.
Yes.
He mixed the dark and the light, and that's why we don't really hear too much of that. I'm not saying that anyone else doesn't do that, but that started with Solomon, the Solomonic magic. So just like people are afraid of the demons, but we're more willing to accept the angels, people are afraid of the demons because they make shit happen.
Right.
They get shit moving.
Old Solomon temple, and he got Solomon seals too that will fuck some shit up.
Absolutely. Versus the angels are more about, gaining knowledge, like instant knowledge, and, just illuminating your intelligence as a whole. That's why, we can be as intelligent as we want. But if we can't make shit happen to our favor, because we know this system is rigged, we live in a rigged system, and the only way to balance out the system is through the spirit. We must acknowledge the realness of the spirit, especially the American spirits. If we are here, you see, these are the most unknown spirits on the planet. We can find spirits all over this planet, but when you start looking for some American spirits, some Olmec spirits, you know, the native spirits, it's very hard to find that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because again, this is why they want us to think that we came from somewhere else. Or you came from this country, you came from over here. They're not going to tell you, okay, you're actually from the lands of America, because if we acknowledge we're from America, that means we must work with American spirits in order to become supreme. It's not going to happen through other spirits, because we have to reach out further. Instead of going to the spirits that's right under our feet, the dead, we walk on the dead every day. Every day we walk on this American soil. We are walking upon the graves of the dead, who's just ready and willing to make that shit happen. So we must work with the spirits of the dead, especially the American dead. And again, that's what makes hip hop so powerful. That's why we have so many of our gods and goddesses checking up out of here. It's not that they're forever gone. Now they become our spirit allies. Now they on our side to work on the other side, because they know they were done wrong. They know they got tricked out of their position. So now they're furious. They're angry. So now we can work with them angry spirits. That's what makes hip hop supreme, because it becomes sorcery and necromancy. That's a more powerful ritual than working with, let's just say, traditional gods. Work with the spirits, the dead hip hop spirits. That is more powerful than any other spirits outside of hip hop, because that is the closest to us. If we have any culture, it have to be hip hop beyond the music, because we know the origins. Hip hop was to evolve our intelligence. That's why we put consciousness in our lyrics. So even those who were not conscious on the physical plane, you know, like a King Von or something, you know, he spoke about violence all the time. But now, in the spirit world, it's a whole different story. Do a ritual dedicated to Von. It's a whole different energy now, because now they see the bigger picture. Now they see, okay, I need to actually be here for my people, because I wasn't necessarily doing it on the physical plane, but I can damn sure do it now. That's why our dead must constantly be exalted. We must constantly exalt our dead, because now they are ready to put that work in.
Oh my God, and that makes sense. I remember in one video you said, "Where are all the slave ships from Africa?" And that shit still is in my head, because you said that like 6 years ago. Where are the fucking slave ships? And I never seen, except for a fake picture of a Jesus. They called a slave ship called Jesus. Mm-hmm. But I never seen like a real fucking slave ship in a museum or nothing.
Mm-hmm. Because again, if they have us believing that we're from somewhere else, we don't exalt our own dead.
Wow.
Because we think we're from somewhere else. How do we honor our own dead if we feel like we're not even from here? We came from somewhere else. So when we acknowledge that we're from here, like, oh, we are the Olmecs, we are the Mayans, we are the Toltecs, we are all these things. We are some combination of these things. So when we acknowledge our dead, that our dead are more powerful than any spirit that we can work with. So that's why they're demonized. That's why when a person dies, like, just think about Michael Jackson, who was the representation of the angel Michael or Michael. But because of his physical reputation,
they don't want him to get out, because they keep him in jail, because they know all the stuff he know about Tommy Mottola and stuff. He would take a lot of people down.
Exactly. There's so many of our dead that's just ready to put in work. We just don't acknowledge it because of their physical life. Again, you know, people come. For example, I brought up Michael Jackson because of his physical. You know, he what he was doing or what he wasn't doing. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people feel some type of way because of, you know, the child accusations and all that. But remember, the spirit don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
None of that.
Spirit don't care about what you did or what you didn't do, whether you sinned or whether you didn't sin. That is irrelevant in the spirit world. So if we truly understand and accept that, we should be working with all of the dead. If we understand that their physical life does not matter, it's all about the currency that they generated.
Damn. And it's just amazing to me, because, you know, the fact you brought up Michael Jackson, he used to work with Farrakhan too. A lot of people don't know that. And
Exactly.
Farrakhan got a
Exactly.
lot. Yeah, Farrakhan gets exiled a lot on the banned books list and everything.
He actually converted to Islam before he died, and he changed his name to Mikhail or Mikhail. So he actually converted into Islam. So he died a Muslim, because when you take your shahada as a Muslim, it erases your sins. So this is what, before he died, before he checked out, his sins were erased. So whatever he did, his sins were forgiven because he converted to Islam, and that your sins are forgiven.
Wow.
So this is what I mean, yes, and that's why we don't hear that part. We don't hear about his communications with the Nation of Islam and Farrakhan, because they want to suppress that. Because if we understand that, that means his soul was freed if his sins were forgiven. So that even if he did some fucked up shit, that ain't gonna be weighed against him, because all that has been forgiven in the eyes of Allah. Because that's the religion that he exactly. So this is why we must continuously exalt our dead. For this reason, because as we say, if only God can judge us, then who are we to say who we should or should not be honoring? They could have been a mass murderer on this planet. But if they are forgiven in the eyes of God, then who are we to say otherwise?
Exactly. That is and you know what else? It just really brought the flashback to my mind when you also talk a lot about how, the street code of people, what I'm saying, having that discipline enough to let go of those labels, because Michael Jackson came from a cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. Mm-hmm. And those people stalk the fuck out of me. So I know how brainwashed you can get and forced in a corner you can get with Jehovah's Witnesses. The kind of mind fucking they do, I mean, it's extremely violating. God would totally understand. Whoever that higher power is, it would totally understand that you a product of your environment.
Exactly. That's why we must honor the streets and the street code, for that very reason. Because, people spend their whole life trying to get out the hood, trying to get out the streets, trying to change their lives. But again, if we look at it from a Gnostic perspective, the Gnostics, it's like, we ain't trying to be a part of the system at all. They're trying to be complete outlaws. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. All they're concerned about is evolving their intelligence and evolving that currency. And they're going to do whatever they need to do to tap into that currency. So if they need to have orgies, if they need to do tarot readings, if they need to drink some blood, they're going to do whatever they need to do to tap into that currency so that they can evolve their intelligence. Not to become something special in this world, but to become something special in the next, so that we can pull on their energy and become supreme. That's the whole thing.
Because I noticed, that a lot of white don't even go to tanning salons no more. Ain't even no more tanning salons like that, because they just drink the melanated blood pills they got now. They got stuff on the black market where you can get melanin easy. And you don't need to go for a tanning salon.
And a lot of people don't even know how to access the black market or the dark web.
Right.
And that's the thing, because we feel that, okay, the government is watching and you're going to get in trouble, so on and so forth. But again, if the spirit is moving through you, there's nothing that they can do to you, because the spirit is more powerful than this planet. But you see, if we have fear in our heart, we don't understand that. So we're trying to stay out of trouble. We're trying to stay out the way, instead of being right there in the darkness, right in the center of the hood, and knowing that can't nobody do a motherfucking thing to you, because you honor the street codes and you honor the street laws. Well, what can be done to you when you're integrated fully with the darkness of your own psychology?
Wow, especially if get the cheat codes, because you talk about back 6 years ago in 2015, you talked about how like it really is a simulation, like Grand Theft Auto. You got to learn certain cheat codes.
Exactly, and that's what the spirit teaches. See, you're not going to get that from human beings. Everybody want to remain secretive and keep the secret. So those who actually do know the cheat codes, they're probably not going to tell you. But the spirit will reveal these things to you, because they probably got it from spirit. And if they didn't get it from spirit, they got it from another person, and they have to take an oath of silence. That's the whole street code. It's about keep your goddamn mouth shut. That's the whole code, because they do have those cheat codes, and they're not supposed to be revealed to the public, because the public is not going to like the results. Because you say these streets are satanic. These streets are Luciferian. People are getting killed. Women are getting raped. There's all type of injustices going on. But again, the spirit is not concerned with the physicality. It is concerned with the currency. So when we focus our mind on the currency and not the madness of the world, we focus on the upper echelon. We focus on being supreme and evolving our intelligence, integrating that angelic and that demonic. We become untouchable, not untouchable as we can't be touched, untouchable that the spirit will allow you to move freely. And if anybody thought to do something to you, the spirit take care of it, and you never even had to lift a finger. It's already taken care of, and you wouldn't even know.
Absolutely. That's why Jay-Z always, he can go to Marcia projects with no problems. And as long as he throw up that pyramid, that divination, astrology, and numerology pyramid, the witch pyramid, as long as he throw that pyramid up, he is safe in Marcia projects. They won't do nothing to him because they know, you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
The forces that he pays a lot. Him and Beyonce, they pay so much to the Apollo Mayombe. They know that shit is the truth. So he can go to Marcy projects without no security and feel perfectly fine, him and Nas.
Because they got them cheat codes on deck. Cheat codes allow you to do things like that. And the cheat codes come directly from the Inferno mysteries. You have to go to hell. That's why we become drug dealers, pimps, prostitutes, because it integrates us or initiates us into those underworld mysteries. Then you learn the cheat codes of this world. Oh, this is how the world actually works. This world is actually ran off of fetish and perversion. It's not ran off of justice and honor like we're made to believe. So
not at all.
So once we have that truth, we can capitalize off of the vices of the world. That's what people do. They capitalize off of the vices because we know people want to get high. People want to have sex. People want to do all of these cardinal things. And they're gonna go through the dark web. They're gonna go through the light web. They're gonna go through any means possible to feed their vices. So the cheat codes allows you to integrate with the vices, but not become a slave to it, because you can become a slave to your vices. But when you have the spirit flowing through you, the spirit allows you to navigate it without becoming a slave to it. And that's how we integrate the dark with the light.
Shit. See, that's why I appreciate you. You on a puppet master level. You know what I'm saying? When I was going through that whole Taylor rage, the way you taught me to channel that, it was just like I knew I had the cheat codes to the Matrix. Like, you know what I'm saying? You taught me how to do the Latin incantations and totally fuck them Freemasons up, because they really thought they was going to, you know what I'm saying, rape me with no lube. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say it nicely, but like they really thought they was going to have me stuck in a mental war forever, you know?
Exactly. And most of our people fall victim because we're afraid of currency. That's why we try to protect ourselves with money. That's why when we get it, we want to exalt it. We want to show the money. You know, we just want to put it all in everybody's face as if we're really doing something. When correct. We want to exalt materialism as soon as we get it, because we think we're doing something. We think we're evolving. But again, you see, there's certain lords of the underworld and gods and goddesses of the underworld that don't ever have to leave the hood. That's the truth. Like, it's just certain people in the hood that have no problem. They ain't nobody gonna tell them to get out the hood. They actually are planted in the hood and they ain't going nowhere. And this is our goal. So again, it ain't to get out of the hood. It ain't to get out of the Inferno. It's to become the master of it. To be the master of vice. Not to be a straight edge. It's to be the master of vice. That's why we do the drugs. That's why we integrate with all this darkness, to master it. Not to be safe from it, to master it. That is the Gnostic way. This world is an illusion. This world is fake anyway, created by a demiurge.
Fuck yeah, the archons, exactly. And when you taught me how to see that puppet master, you know, eagle eye view, I was like, damn, I got the whole bird's eye view of this shit, because like if you go from a higher level and fuck some shit up, you're going to get a much harder impact than if you do it at a predictable, superficial level, mediocre level.
Exactly. Because that dark magic allows us to shield what we're actually doing. Because, you know, there are people that can remote view, that can look at what everything you got going on, except when you were able to shield yourself with those shadows. Now they're seeing confusion. Now they're seeing things that are not actually real. And this is what causes people to go crazy, because they don't really understand what's going on. Because we're able to put in that work, that shadow work, because we come from the triple darkness. We come from the triple darkness. We're not trying to get out the triple darkness. We're trying to integrate and master the dark matter and the dark energy, so that we become that Lucifer.
Whoa, that's deep. That is deep, because when you taught me the power of dark matter and why Elon Musk type of people use it with the Apple symbol and everything, these motherfuckers put this shit on their grave. They are serious about dark matter, but they try to disguise it and call it the God particle or whatever they want to camouflage it as. You use a colloquialism, but I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people got fired from NASA from claiming, you know what I'm saying, real shit about melanin.
Exactly, yeah, because they take an oath, and if they violate the oath, they lose their life. But we ain't take no oath with no human beings. We take our oath with the spirit.
Right.
So when we take our oath with the spirit, then we can speak those cheat codes. We have freedom of speech and freedom of movement, because we're not confined to a contract. We're not confined to we can only do this, we can only do that, because that is lessening our power. We must gain power, and the only way we are able to supreme or maximize our power and make it supreme is to integrate deeply with those infernal spirits, because that's what everybody fears. As you say, what they will call satanic, what they will call Luciferian. But we're doing it in a way that allows us to not just shield ourselves, but to move and cloak. It's like we have invisibility spells. Somebody can be looking right at you and not see you.
Woo! Especially with them T-codes. That shit is fine. You taught me that they not scared of a nigga with a gun. You know, they almost scared of a nigga with a book, but with the fucking power of the fucking occult, they are terrified. You know what I'm saying? That shit has so much juice. It's like it's beyond anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like a galactic laser on their ass, because you know what I'm saying? We need to bring the fucking Terminators down here for these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I really want to call them some bacon. You know what I'm saying? But we need to give them what they, you know what I'm saying, 10 times what they're giving us. Because when I saw Frederick Douglass' book, when you talked about that shit, the slave soul, like, I couldn't believe how angry he was. You know what I mean? About how he violated on every level. He couldn't even do nothing. You know what I'm saying? As far as he could fight the white people, but he said they didn't even know how bad they had it, because, you know what I'm saying, they gave them some crumbs, and we was just happy with the crumbs. We didn't want to, you know what I'm saying, be on that Nat Turner shit and fight for more.
Could you see this? That requires you to be a Gnostic. When you say, okay, same thing with the Haitian Revolution. We killing men, women, and children. Poison the water. Everybody get it. Nobody is off limits. You see, the average person now is, again, we're too focused on money and money getting to even think like that. That's just total warfare. But we see that's actually what freed people from their slavery, to get on that Gnostic time, to move beyond what we feel is right or wrong and go directly to divine justice, or as we call the street justice. So if we move on to the Gnostic perspective, we completely understand the position that we play, that we must, again, the Gnostics, they honor the Christ, but their Christ is the Lord of the underworld, the El Cristo Negro. It's not the Christ that died on the cross. It's the Christ after he died and he went into the Sheol.
He went into the darkness. He called himself Sananda.
Exactly. See, the Christ in the darkness is what the true power is. That's why Christ is as powerful. They just remove those infernal mysteries. So it ain't that the Christ, we should acknowledge it, just not from the mainstream. We must acknowledge the underworld Christ. We must acknowledge the infernal mysteries, because that is where we find freedom, through activating our cheat codes, as we call our melanin or our stardust, whatever we want to call it. We are able to activate those cheat codes, not to get money, but to build currency, so that we can maintain a legacy of darkness, not a legacy of light, a legacy of darkness, so that we can maintain the culture, The culture is maintained through the darkness. Once we transcend, we're going to be translating this information to those who are still here. That is our divine duty. That's why we have invisible temples. I talked about that yesterday. There are invisible temples all over this country that you can't perceive with the physical eyes, but they exist strictly in the spirit world. And we access them, exactly. We access them through those cheat codes by integrating with the darkness, by integrating with the Lord, and the Lord is of the underworld.
Damn. I mean, because the Book of Thomas, when you read that shit on that Luciferian video, I said, oh my God. No wonder they had to take that, the Book of Thomas, the Book of Enoch, the Book of Mary Magdalene. They had to get that shit up out of there because that shit would have been way too raw. You know, like ODB said, it would have been way too raw because, you know what I'm saying, when you went into the Book of Thomas, I said, no wonder they used to force people into religion. You couldn't get it. Just like now we got to get a vaccine. You couldn't get a job without religion or nothing. They had to get better.
Exactly, and that's why ODB was killed, because he called himself Osiris. Who was Osiris? The Lord of the underworld.
Oh.
That's why he was the most powerful force in the Wu-Tang. That's why everybody else is cooling. But he had those cheat codes, he had those dark codes, and that's why he named himself that, and that's why his style was completely different. That's why he sounded like a drunken monk. His style was completely Gnostic. Like, you had to really, everyone else, you know, the Wu-Tang, you know, they would spit knowledge and wisdom, but now, no, he's speaking like a Gnostic, like, fuck all that. We about to go into these drugs. We about to go into this drink. We about to go into this sex realm. We about to do what these Gnostics do so that we can generate this currency. And that's why they had to get him up out of here.
Hell yeah, just like Africa Bambaataa, they had to make sure they stopped him. Like when you told us in the beginning of your video stage, when you started talking about Africa Bambaataa, I couldn't believe how many people was like, whoa, because that Africa Bambaataa shit you got us on, that was the truth. Like those frequencies in that music, it's like, I can see why they want to make sure they, you know what I'm saying, take all his reputation away. They won't put him in the Hall of Fame at all.
Exactly. He's the one that actually went to Egypt. He went to Kemet and brought together the hip hop culture. We wasn't calling it hip hop before him. We was unorganized in these streets. He brought organization to the culture. But right, we will not acknowledge him because he actually put in that real work. Because again, he went to the lands and he got the game. The ancestors gave him the game directly. That's why he came back with the Ankhs. He brought consciousness to the music. You know, we had a little consciousness here and there, but he brought them Ankhs back. That's why when you look at the imagery back in the day, like we've been on the Ankhs, putting the Ankhs everywhere and exalting the Egyptian culture, because that is a part of hip hop. You cannot separate hip hop and not acknowledge those pyramids in the Egyptian culture. So when hip hop culture is the manifestation of what we have always been, and that's just like the Lima. The Lima is the consciousness of the ancient mind. That's why do what thou wilt. This is how we believed in ancient times. That's why we were able to be supreme in those times. That's why when we say things like that now, people automatically think that that's something negative because it came from Aleister Crowley. Do what thou wilt is how we actually should be conducting ourselves. Because you don't have to violate nobody else's free will. You just have to exalt your own.
Whoa, so that 12 laws of karma, that's totally in alignment with that.
Absolutely. Because all karma is not bad karma. We can also generate good karma. In order to generate good karma, we have to integrate with the spirit. We have to integrate with those underworld, because the deeper we go into the underworld, we cleanse ourselves of karma. That's what happened in Dante's Inferno. The deeper he went into the underworld, he had to cleanse a certain level of karma. Each level represented karma that he had to cleanse. So the deeper and deeper you go into the underworld, that's you cleansing your karma. Because we know we are all filled with karma just by being on this planet Earth. So we descend into the underworld to remove our karma. Just like the Christ had to descend into the underworld for 3 days before he was able to resurrect. He had to go into the depths of the underworld. And that's when he learned how to resurrect, not before. That's why everybody focuses on everything he went through when he was alive. But his real job didn't start till after he descended into Sheol.
Tori, yeah. Yes, yes. Whoa, that's deep. You know, that's what happened with the Roman goddess Persephone.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
She was a young girl and a virgin and everything, like Santa Muerte. She was chosen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I really resonate with that story. Like, I was a straight A student, top of the country and everything, but I realized, like, you know what I'm saying, when you get chosen, you have to answer that call. There's no way you can run from it. And I tried to run. Oh, I did. But you really can't. Like, your soul is so much stronger. That will of your soul is so much stronger than any physical desire.
Exactly. That currency begins to build up. And when that currency continues to build up, because we are descending deeper and deeper into those infernal mysteries and unlocking those cheat codes and going back into our ancient mind, we always operated. There has always been secret societies, priests and priestesses that were more into the inferno than the mainstream. That's why if you go to Egypt or anywhere, the mainstream was worshiping, A.A.R, a Set, Anubis, and all these things. But when you go into those deeper mysteries in the secret society, they had a whole different pantheon of deities that the mainstream knew nothing of.
So they can't technically, they don't have the right to wipe out galactic memory, out Akashic memory. Technically, that is not their right to do that.
Yeah, there's no way they can do it because they don't know how to do it because it predates them. Because all this was already done before they was even on the planet. They have no knowledge of that. That's why when they be finding the little mummies and all that, that's why they got to dig up the mummies. They're trying to figure out what was going on because they don't know. They have no idea what's going on. Remember, they have never found an Egyptian crown. Look at all the mummies. So where the crowns go? It's not like they didn't exist. How do you find mummies? How do you find all these artifacts? But they have not found one crown. They exist, but they're just shielded in magic. They can't be touched except by those who are ranked. That you have to have enough rank to discover these things, and they don't have enough rank. So they can dig up as many mummies as they want. They still not gonna understand how those pyramids worked. They're not gonna be able to find those capstones. Where them capstones at?
And the Sphinx too. They claim they found the Sphinx, but they said it's a totally different dimension to the Sphinx than they want to acknowledge,
And that's where we get the mystery or the riddle of the Sphinx. Because the Sphinx will come to you in your dreams and ask you a question, and if you get that question wrong, you're gonna have a hard ass time. But you have to be a genius, and we are all geniuses. So it's like it's asking us a regular ass question. Or what's your favorite song? Like, it's gonna ask you something that you already got the answer to. But that's why so many of our people are afraid to go back to those sacred lands, because it's very, again, you're not gonna feel love and light walking on Egyptian lands. You're gonna feel darkness because they exalted the Duat, they exalted the underworld, they exalted the tree of death.
Damn, that is deep. No wonder, people try to say Hawaii is the real motherland, but I know something ain't right with that because, what I'm saying, I noticed, what I'm saying, a lot of Native Americans and Moors, even people from Hawaii keep coming here, and Mexicans keep coming here too. So I said, what the hell is it?
These lands are the new paradise. Helena Blavatsky even speaks about this. America, we're in the fifth root race of the seven. There are 7 root races. We're on the 5th root race, and she predicted 100 years ago that the 5th root race will rise in America, and that's what we see happening now. So essentially this has already been predicted. So we're just playing out a script that has already been written, and it's just all about us playing our roles. And that's why we have to get out of our ego, because this is so much bigger than us. We must play our role to help the collective. It's not about one single individual, it's about a collective. And as we begin to exchange intelligence and currency, we begin to unlock the codes collectively. So that's why, like when something crazy happens, we instantly get together, whether we want to march or we want to protest. It's like something within our spirit instantly activates. And we can't get along no other time except when somebody dies, when death occurs. Why does death bring us together? Because we come from the triple darkness. That is the duat. We come from Doth. So when somebody enters into the abyss and becomes a spirit worker, it's really a celebration. We think we're marching and protesting. We're really celebrating the death of the new spirit worker, or the new spirit kings and queens that we must access. So just like you were saying earlier, Breonna Taylor, how many people are summoning her spirit? They wouldn't even think about doing that shit.
Right.
Imagine you don't think she's ready to fuck some shit up? Exactly.
Or Trayvon Martin, because
Exactly.
Trayvon Martin inside of a politician's chest
Correct.
right now.
Correct.
You know the power of that alien. They took his heart.
Correct.
For real, that was a whole Freemasonic ritual.
Absolutely. So you see, we have to think opposite to truly get things done. And then we do that by exalting our dead and summoning our dead, utilizing that necromancy and that sorcery, because we have always done that. That's why when we go to Egypt, that's why it's a book of the dead. That's why they exalt their dead. That's why we created mummies. It's all about exalting the dead, because we understand how valuable death is. It's not how valuable life is. It's about how valuable death is, because through death, we are able to go through that rebirth, that resurrection, and ascend. Before the ascension, we have to descend into the duat, which is where, again, that's the last place that the average person wants to go.
Right, the tree of death and the tree of life, because you talked about the god Chiron from Saturn. They keep talking about disconnect from Saturn. All those high-level quantum people disconnect from Saturn. I'm like, why do they want us to disconnect from Lord Chiron? You know what I'm saying? Because we need that shit.
And this is what I'm saying. Chiron unlocks your unique expression. See, that's what they won't tell you. Chiron it's not just about healing your deepest wound. It also allows you to manifest your unique expression. So our uniqueness is trapped within Chiron, or the other side of our deepest wound, which we heal through shadow work, which we heal by going into the duat. So once we are able to remove our deepest wound, whatever that wound may be, because we're all fucking mad about something, or we feel like, oh, that shouldn't have happened to me, or we are whatever we feel that we were a victim to. Once we remove that victimhood, no, I'm not a victim. I'm actually powerful. I am the supreme. I don't care about what happened to me. This is just a physical. My soul ain't never been touched. Ain't nobody ever touched my soul. Fuck this body. So we remove our victimhood. We remove, like, we're weak, we're down. We remove all that shit. And then we exalt the dead, the spirit, so that we can build up that currency, so that we can resurrect anew. Where we no longer are wounded, we can express that unique expression through Chiron. And that's why all these things have deeper mysteries than on the surface. So you got regular astrology, then you got draconic astrology. Draconic astrology is dealing with your actual karma. Because, with Western astrology, I'm a Scorpio, but draconically, I'm a Capricorn. So I'm like, that actually explains why I'm as dark as I am. It ain't. I'm thinking, no, that's you being Scorpio. No, that's Capricorn. That's the master architect. That's the horn god. That's the Baphomet. I'm like, oh well, that actually fits. But I had to go through the draconic astrology to come to that conclusion. I had to get out of the mainstream astrology and go into the real astrology to get those real secrets.
Damn, because when when I use graveyard dirt in my you know what I'm saying, just having it at my altar for my Palo Mayombre altar, having that graveyard dirt makes a difference. Because I realize I now have a choice to merge the flesh with the soul.
And that's what makes that soil from the graveyard. That's what makes it so potent. You get any soil from the graveyard after you acknowledge the spirit. That's why people bring cigars to the grave. They offer the cigars to the spirits, like, I don't, just out of respect, so I can, they will allow you to take that. Because again, that's just what we do. Exactly. That's what we do. We acknowledge the spirit. Here's my offering, because I know I'm going to take something from you guys. So I'm going to give you something to replace what I'm taking away. That's how currency works. That's why we give offerings to the spirit. Because if we want something from them, we give them something to create that mediumship. That's why a lot of spirits like tobacco, a lot of spirits like alcohol. That's just a medium to cause that interaction to occur. Here's me giving something. Of course, the spirit isn't going to actually smoke the tobacco or actually drink it. It's the currency.
Ooh, the pleasure of just the pleasure that's in those microorganisms.
Exactly. Correct.
Whoa.
So now they're willing to talk. They're like, oh shit, okay, you actually acknowledge me. Okay, I got something for your ass. Because you acknowledge me. We take one step towards the spirit is going to take 2 steps towards us. And we've always known this, but it's always been secret. We've never really explained it to other people, but we've always known how currency works. That's why we was never concerned about money, because we were abundant in currency. And when you have an abundance of currency, money is not even an issue. That's not even something that you even care about, because you understand, no, my purpose is to integrate with the spirit and get divine justice, which is something you can't pay for. You can't pay for divine justice, but you must put in that spiritual work. You must descend into the underworld and communicate with those demons or whoever's going to put in that work. And then again, they ain't asking for money. So they want that currency. They just want to be acknowledged by you, because you are their future. You are the one that's still on the planet that can make shit happen. All they can do is assist you, but we are the ones that's in the dirt, that's in the ground, that actually have to work these rituals and work this technomancy.
Damn. And so is that why they like if we go into because a lot of people say do not go into that damn light. So if we go into the darkness, will we get a choice to bring our bodies with us wherever we want to go, like a Merkaba? We'll be able to keep our Merkaba intact, because, you know what I'm saying, I know a lot of, you know what I'm saying, psychic NASA type of quantum people like to try to interfere with time, you know, your timelines and your you know what I'm saying, your dreams and shit, to get into that astral body. They want that astral body more than they want anything.
Exactly. We saw this in the cartoon Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Where Goku was able to keep his body where everybody else was just a spirit form, because he was righteous. He was all about divine justice. He sacrificed his life multiple times for the greater good, to the point where he didn't even care about his life. Like, yo, if I gotta die to save the world, that's an easy decision to make. And every time he made the decision, he was rewarded. That's why everybody's looking at him like, yo, how's you walking around this bitch with your body intact, and everybody else is just a spirit form? Because he was just like the Christ. He was thinking about something greater. I ain't just trying to save people. I'm trying to save the entirety of the planet. I'm trying to heal the world from the original sin. That's why he had to descend into Sheol. Again, that's why I say that's why people feel Christ died for everybody's sins, not just the people he liked, but also the people that didn't like him at all. That's why he was forgiving people as they beating his ass. Because like, yo, I'm doing this for everybody, even the people that don't fuck with me. And that's what divine justice is. It's not about the individual, it's about the collective. What does the collective need? And that's essentially what hip-hop shows us. That's why we come together through hip-hop. Not just through the music, just through the culture, because hip-hop is everywhere. That's why we good anywhere. As long as you are hip-hop, you're good anywhere on this planet, because this whole planet is hip-hopped out at this point. So when you come in the name of hip-hop, not in the name of Christianity or Islam and all that, when you come in the name of hip-hop, you will get the greatest respect, because that is the greatest culture, because hip-hop acknowledges the dead. Hip-hop acknowledges the dead. We're always shouting out the dead, as we call the dead homies. We hear that all the time, everywhere. So, the dead homies.
That, yeah.
Exactly.
Damn, that's deep. And you know, I had another. I'm sorry, I have to keep going. I apologize, because this shit right here is just like it's so addicting when you get into it. I almost forget I have a body. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's secondary, because we understand currency. See, when we have this energetic exchange, we build up currency to now we're manipulating time and space. Yeah, see, we've been live almost 2 hours, but now it only feel like 10 minutes, because we are acknowledging the spirit.
Damn. And you know, they just keep, I'd be so surprised, because it's like they keep me so right. You know what I'm saying? It's like no matter how much evil and psychic dorks these people in these churches be doing late at night, it's like they reverse that curse. You know what I'm saying? Every time. Like all I gotta do is, you know what I'm saying, do a sex ritual, or you know what I'm saying, if I ain't got no money, or if I just, you know what I'm saying, go pee in the ground, do some urine magic, like you say, drink the urine. They love that shit. Like they do not want much at all, and they you know what I'm saying, but they appreciate just being appreciated. And I can't believe, you know what I'm saying, so many people talking about I can pay my karmic debt off with money. Nah, you can't pay that karmic debt off with money, because they want something, like you say, bigger than that.
They want your DNA. See, that's why urine is valuable. That's why semen is valuable. That's why the sexual fluids are valuable. That's why tears are valuable, because that contains your DNA, which is that magical potency. So that's why, because you can't get that from anywhere else. You can't get tears. You can't get urine. None of this is produced naturally, but we are able to produce it naturally. That's why they're so potent. So the things that we don't acknowledge is actually what has the most currency. It's what we don't acknowledge. It's not what we actually do acknowledge. It's what we don't acknowledge. So while everybody else is chasing the bag, you're like, okay, I need to generate DNA. I need to offer my DNA to the spirit, so the spirit can see my light and communicate telepathically with me, to help me unlock those cheat codes so that I can see what I need to do on a divine level.
Whoa, they love it too. I mean, if all I gotta do is poke my finger on a rose thorn and give it to them, and it's like they just light up like a Christmas tree, because they really, you know what I'm saying, they really are so, you know what I'm saying, modest about it, but at the same time they carry so much impact, because the police feel it immediately if I throw up a pyramid or if I throw up some horns. You know what I'm saying? They can feel that shit.
Exactly. I've been in the face of cops so many times. They just wanted to do something, but they couldn't. They're like, God damn, we can't touch this motherfucker. They didn't like it at all. They didn't like it at all. But it's rank. It's about rank. When you putting in that work, the spirit is gonna shield you. Even if it's ridiculous, like, okay, you're free to go, when you know damn well you didn't put that work in.
Felony and everything, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. So we know how this is going, and this is why we acknowledge the spirit, because they generate currency. So the more currency we acknowledge, the more currency we can absorb. It's about how much currency can you contain. We become abundant. The more currency we can contain, the more spirit we can integrate with, the more we can channel, the more we can become the mediums, the vessels of spirit. The more we can contain, the more we can hold, then the greater we become. So it's about being able to absorb and contain the energy. Because again, anybody can get money, but it's all about maintaining and building wealth. So just like anybody can interact with currency, but it's all about building it up and translating it into something else. And that is the cheat code. How do I translate this raw energy into something useful? That's alchemy. And we know we are the alchemists. Translating currency into something useful. Exactly.
Yeah, coal into diamonds. Because, I mean, that's just the amazing thing about this planet. Coal into diamonds, I mean, you would never think that was possible. But that's what occultists are. We come from the dirt, and we get under that pressure, and we just shine. Like, you know what I'm saying? It makes these other, you know what I'm saying, lower ranking secret societies and all of these, you know what I'm saying, amateurs, it really makes them angry. The energy vampires come out, because, you know what I'm saying, they get so thirsty when they see how much we really took it seriously and didn't half-ass it, you know?
Exactly. Give me 1 second. Let me grab this charger before this computer dies. Give me 1 second. Let me grab this charger.
Absolutely. Oh, no, it's not bad at all.
All right, sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. appreciate you keeping us going, because the fact that you was alert enough, some people don't even know when they battery drain and they addicted to their phone.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to, acknowledge the currency, and I deeply appreciate you for calling in and sharing your insight. And I see you had a lot to get off your chest, and it was very, very
I had to
useful.
get that Breonna Taylor shit off me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they just keep doing these rituals, you know what I'm saying? With Young Dolph and all these Instagram influencers dropping like flies. It's like, whoa.
Exactly. And the only defense we have is currency, by integrating with the spirit, especially the American spirits that nobody knows nothing of. Because just like the Olmecs, we don't even have the name of the spirits of the Olmecs. You had to get that through direct translation. There's no book. And that's the greatest spirits are the ones that you cannot find in books, that are unknown to the masses and the public. Those are the most powerful, the ones that other people can't find, the ones that come to us directly because we continue to put that work in.
My goodness. Especially when I'm saying so many people are being forced in position, you know what I'm saying, where they basically got to choose between, am I going to get a meal today or am I going to wash my ass today? You know, they really put you in that kind of position as a person with all the rituals of the church and the political predators and shit. It make you feel like, you know what I'm saying, at this point, you know what I'm saying, people become, you know what I'm saying, like kamikaze. Like you said, it becomes a kamikaze situation at that point, because people feel like they have and that's why I appreciate you giving me that a higher level, puppet master level, because like I was really able, you know what I'm saying, to kill way more birds with one stone. You know what I'm saying? And doing the shit on the superficial, mediocre level. That shit really gave me so much you know what I'm saying, so much of a much more, you know what I'm saying, impact, like Bruce Lee shit, because I was like, there's no way I'm going to just sit here, you know what I'm saying, like Tupac said, and be a victim to this.
Exactly. That's why his middle name was Amori or Amoru, which represents the feathered serpent or the winged serpent. Not just a serpent, but the winged serpent. Just like the tip of the wand of Hermes, where both of the masculine and the feminine snakes become one. The divine masculine and the divine feminine working as one. And that is our goal. You know, we are separated through gender, but when we merge together, we become complete. And that's what makes us androgynous beings. Our goal is to be androgynous, to have the divine masculine and the divine feminine on the throne in the most supreme state that we can, in the spirit world first. Then it reflects in the material world, because the material world is just the results, the aftermath of what we're doing spiritually. So once we understand the material is just the results of our spiritual work, then that inclines us to do as much spiritual work as we can, because we know that anything that's happening on the material plane is just the results of our spiritual labor, not our physical labor, our spiritual labor. That technomancy, putting in that occult work, that underworld magic, descending deeper and deeper into the hellish mysteries, the last place that most people want to go. That's why we're taught to fear hell. Our ancestors never taught us to fear hell. If you study voodoo, heaven is in the center of the earth, according to voodoo, that we consider hell. So we can see how our ancestors viewed it. We never had a fear of the infernal mysteries. Instead, we embraced it. That's why the Egyptians went through the Duat. They didn't go into no heavenly world. They went through the Duat. Then they went into the stars. But you must first go through the underworld before you transcend or evolve. That's why everybody talks about ascension. How many people are talking about descension, to descend first? It's all about, you got to ascend, you got to ascend. No, you have to descend. Descend, put your face in that dirt, put your face in that mud. Then you ascend from being the hanged man. And that's what the hanged man in the tarot represents. It represents descension into the underworld. So that's a universal principle that we even see manifested in the tarot.
Hell yeah, because anybody can be enlightened in a cave or monastery. They apart. But when you come out and get around the savages, can you really hold that shit? Can you really hold that weight?
Exactly. Precisely. So I so much appreciate you, you know, coming in and giving us all your insight. Cause I'm only gonna be on here a couple more minutes. You know, the sun's coming up
I
now.
apologize. It's just yesterday I was so thankful because, you know what I'm saying, I got some good rest after that 6 hours. It was like, I mean, I really appreciate you doing this. Like, you really a rare person, like 1%, because, I mean, it's like you really put so much on the line for us, and for you to do it so early, too, to make sure we don't have these mosquitoes and vampires and leeches after us. That really helps us, you know what I'm saying, get into the further, you know what I'm saying, that integration and that synchronicity. We feel we can really start our day off and our night right, because that is the juice right there, to have that and not have all that interference. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and I completely respect you for just remembering, you know, me reaching out and having that conversation with you. So it was a great reminder, like, yo, you definitely, it helps you that much. And, you know, I'm glad it was able to assist you now. Well then, and I'm glad I'm able to still assist you now, just strictly with currency. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely donate, because this, I mean, even though they fucking with my YouTube app, I'm gonna make sure I find a way, because this is energy exchange was really priceless for me, and I thank you so much for, you know what I'm saying, going above and beyond every time. You don't half-ass us with nothing, and it's a lot of people on here doing cut card shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Siphoning our energy while they're giving us knowledge. So I really appreciate you for taking the heart away every time.
And it's all because of you guys. Again, we are one. We are operating through one. I'm just simply the voice. So when we merge like Voltron, you know, I'm able to do this, and this is what makes it worth it. Having these conversations like this, and to acknowledge the fact that, yo, you actually are making a difference, even if I may not feel that way at times. You know, that's why I wanted, you know, people to call in, you know, so I can verify it, you know, because I can think one thing in my mind, but when it's verified, it's a whole different story. So you're ultimately appreciated for that, forever.
You saved me from a lot of predators in 6 years. You know, I done, it's a lot of crazies that, you know what I'm saying, can't touch me with all the codes you dropped for me. I really appreciate it, because I got SSI and I got a lot of people that hate on that, you know what I'm saying, because I'm trying to move, you know what I'm saying, strategic. So I appreciate you teaching us how to, you know what I'm saying, shit that we can't look up in no book or on the dark web or Google. Like, you know what I'm saying, you taught us how to read between the lines of this shit and x-ray this shit, because a lot of people are so stingy with this kind of, you know what I'm saying, this is the highest caliber right here, and they hate for people with melanin, you know what I'm saying, to get a whiff of this.
Absolutely. So we're not going to let anything stop us. We're going to continue to evolve. We're going to continue to get darker and more demonic and mix it with a little bit angelic, and we're going to see where it leads us. So I honor you and I salute you for everything that you do, and continuing to be a part of the evolution, the dissension, and the eventual ascension for us as a collective.
Yeah, I just had to confirm to you, even though I was scared to get on because I was excited about you stripping and stuff. I just had to put that to the side. I just, after the last 6 years of seeing how my life has been shielded, I'm talking about from a lot of death hits and stuff like that, because of everything, people putting hitters on my head. Like, for you to teach me this stuff, so I can, you know what I'm saying, have something that's bigger than money, bigger than, you know what I'm saying, all the leeches and vampires. Yo, this shit is really like, I really got to, you know what I'm saying, bow down, because that shit right there is just like, I wish more people was willing to, you know what I'm saying, suffer for something worthwhile like this. This is really the truth. Like, this will give you that level that, you know what I'm saying, really will stop them in their tracks, you know?
Absolutely. And you definitely made that known tonight. And, you know, all the people that will listen, they're definitely going to hear you loud and clear. So that's why I salute you. Definitely, you know, your currency is forever solidified, and that's why we forever double salute to you. Double salute to you.
Yeah, I real recognize it all day. Thank you so much for, you know what I'm saying, just you know, everything, giving me this time. I know I took up a lot of time, but I just really had to express my gratitude. You ain't even if people act like they ain't seeing you, trust me. I know a lot of people that done ripped your videos off and watered it down. I done seen that. So I know you're making a difference. whether they want to admit it or not, they have definitely bited off your shit and watered it down and then profited off of it. So please don't think people ain't looking at you.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we need. And that's why we have to keep it pure, and we keep it within the darkness, and we got to take it to places that they will never take it. We got to keep it authentic, and we got to keep it pure. And this is why we're here, and that's why you even wanted to call in, and that's why you had so much to say, because we understand the power of currency. So again, it's always forever respected. Always forever respected.
Yeah, the money is breadcrumbs. It's breadcrumbs compared to what you give us and how these people are watering your shit down. Please don't think that these people ain't looking at you, because I know for a fact it's a lot of people trying to see you. And whether even doing music like you and everything, it's a lot of channels that water your shit down for real. You really got something there, and they know it. They ain't going to tell you or give you your roses like they don't do Master P and David Banner like that, but you definitely, you know what I'm saying? They have to hide you for a reason, because, you know what I'm saying, it's just like in that movie, Queen of the Damned. They had to hide them people because they knew if those people was just walking in the public like that, it would just, you know what I'm saying? For those people, that the average person couldn't even, you know what I'm saying, conceive or be able to handle somebody out in the open like that. So thank you, man, doing what you do. Whether they act like they see you or not, I know they see you.
Absolutely. And there's nothing more for me to add to that. We completely respect your words. So I'm going to go ahead and check up out of here. Thank you so much.
I didn't let you go, but I had to just say it to you, because I don't want you to ever think, you know what I'm saying, you ain't no amateur, that's for sure. Please have a rest of your day.
Absolutely. You as well. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Mm-hmm. All right. So while I was having that conversation, I was thinking in my head, maybe I actually should do some Zooms. I've been seeing what y'all was saying in the comments. Yeah, so maybe I should also take some Zoom calls, not necessarily today, but, you know, integrate that so people can actually show their faces if they want to as well. So I'll also consider that, because all we got to do is, I believe, just got to create a Zoom link. And, you know, anybody can come in. So I'll definitely, you know, figure out how to integrate the Zoom, so, you know, we'll be able to do that as well. So you guys and girls, let me know, you know, if that'd be something you would like to see as well. So it don't have to strictly be phone calls. It could also be Zoom as well. You know, I'm just saying Zoom because that's just the most universal. Yeah, Zoom is good. Okay. Just as long as you guys call in, you know, don't have me putting up all these links and you know, you guys don't utilize it, you guys and girls. Again, I just want to be as balanced as possible. All right, so unless anyone else wants to call in, we'll go ahead and check out. So we'll give it a few minutes. Because again, I just wanted to give other people a chance to speak. Zoom would be good. Okay, Callie. All right. So I'll figure out how to integrate Zoom. So the next time I come on, I'll be sure to have the Zoom link ready, and we'll see how that goes as well. So okay, so I'm looking at what everybody is saying, and I'm going to definitely, again, I'm just going to try to make the channel more dynamic. So again, it's just not just me speaking. You can hear other people. What about private Zoom sessions? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, like I used to do like Skype calls and all that, but yeah, I can definitely just email me. Yeah, any private sessions and all that, you can definitely, you know, schedule that. You know, consultations basically. Yeah, we can definitely get those Zoom consultations in with no problem. I have absolutely no problem with that. Absolutely no problem with that. So yeah, anybody needs any private services, yeah, just definitely email me. Asha@asharenew.com. We'll set that up with no problem whatsoever. So again, I guess that's what you guys and girls want. So I'll definitely integrate the Zoom, and we'll see what happens with that. And again, you see, this is why I like the AM hours. So we ain't getting a bunch of bullshit. See, this is the benefit of the AM hours without all the extra shit, trolls and all that other bullshit. I appreciate that, Josh. I appreciate that. So yeah, you know, I'll definitely update the website, and I'll have everything ready So again, you see, this wasn't planned. So I just want to let y'all know this wasn't planned. I just had the idea to do this. I wasn't thinking about doing this. 3 hours ago? We've been on 2 hours. I wasn't even thinking about. Probably wasn't even going to go live. It's 9 a.m. East Coast. Shout out to the East Coast. You see, I was showing so much love to the East Coast, especially New York. But shout out to the whole East Coast. I love the way you guys think. I love the East Coast. I love the East Coast so much. Of course, I love the entire Americas, but I have a special love for the East Coast because it's just the mentalism. I appreciate you guys and girls so much. So yeah, I guess someone else wants to call in, so we'll go ahead and end this. I appreciate those who did call and give their perspective so you guys can see, and get guys and girls to see. And then, it ain't just me running my mouth. All right, shout out to New York. Forever. So much love. Because I always want to humble myself. Whenever I think I'm getting a little big-headed, let me give the audience a chance to speak. The supporters a chance to speak. The followers. Again, I don't want to call you guys followers. The supporters. The Voltron. I have to create a name for what we do. I have to create a name when we merge together. Create a fucking secret society. So I have to create a name. Because I know we on that 93 wave. But I'll be able to create a name. So we'll depart. You already know. 93, 93, 93. Can you do this call-in thing again soon? Yeah, I'm gonna definitely do it soon. Definitely. But again, I'm gonna also integrate that Zoom. So I'm gonna figure out how to integrate the Zoom. So I'm gonna continue to give you guys and girls an opportunity to call in again, so we can make it more dynamic, right? So we make it more dynamic, integrate the calls and the Zoom. Because I read in the comments that some people can't call in because they're out of the country, right? So there's some people out of the country, so they may not be able to call in, but they should be able to utilize Zoom. So I think that'd be more universal. So that means anybody can get it in with Zoom. So I think that'd be more universal. So we'll see how that goes. So once I have all that figured out, then you guys and girls will see me. You see me pop up again. Double salute. Everybody that participated from the past, the present, and the future. Everybody who was a part of this heart consciousness. Everybody who resonates with these infernal mysteries and soon to be angelic mysteries as well. So even WhatsApp, I really don't like WhatsApp. They be tracking shit. So I really don't like WhatsApp, but I fuck with Telegram. I have a Telegram, so I fuck with Telegram. I ain't really trying to mess with WhatsApp, but Telegram. I fuck with Telegram. So if you own Telegram, follow me at A.A.R. You can find me on Telegram. You can't find me on WhatsApp, but you can follow me on Telegram. So anybody who's on Telegram, definitely follow me at A.A.R. So you can contact me via Telegram. And I will be, because Telegram allows you to create a whole channel. So I need to figure out how to do more. Right. So I need to put some more information on my Telegram. So again, I'm just getting it all. Just give me a little time. I'm gonna get it together. But that's what I'm saying. I'm always thinking about, how to integrate new dynamics to the channel. So I'm glad you guys are here with me and helping me through this. And again, everybody that called in, I'm glad you guys offered your energy, offered your currency, so everybody else can hear. So it ain't just me talking. You can see, everyone else. So I'm gonna definitely give everyone else an opportunity to voice their opinion, whether right or wrong, good or bad, whether you agree or not. So I don't want anybody to feel like they can't voice their opinion just because you may or may not agree with what I'm saying. So we're gonna go ahead and check out. I'm gonna figure out how to make this more dynamic, and I'll see you guys pretty soon, God willing, or devil willing, right? So take care. Enjoy your PM hours. 93, 93, 93. Hotep. We out this bitch.